Okay, I'm here in the third movement of the Schumann Quintet, the Scherzo, trying to refine my relationship to the Scherzo theme, especially that. I like my finger voice here, especially the hand division at the bottom. Then I have to give myself a B flat. I've also grouped it so that the first two notes are one, and I have three notes, and three notes. And then here is so deliciously wonderful when it's working. But I have to remind myself, at least now, four notes, and four notes. The four notes. I'm in B flat, then I'm in trouble. And also, if I don't remind myself about my solution, I'm not going to recall it as clearly as services me well. Now, I can sort of go on autopilot and more or less play the notes, but there's really, to my ear, in terms of what it feels like, a significant difference when it's completely refined, when the grouping is what I'm actually relying on and thinking about. It's just better. Now, I should point out that I start this movement, so it's up to me to determine a tempo that feels right under my hand. Difficult about having your attention either always on the score when there are difficult things on the keyboard, or always memorized when you know there are interesting details that you need up here on the score. So finding the right balance. In that case, I looked seemingly when I needed it, and the result was I felt a heightened sense of accuracy and consciousness, comfort. So I've got to remind myself about that. Myself how the chords change. G7 goes to C. Whoops. So one of my copyings. 2-1. Aha! That's no help at all. Mindless copying runs the risk that you're not identifying with what you're copying. That made a difference. I had my hands colliding. 2-1. Yay! And that D, I've written D. Now I'm going to write a little arrow. Just to remind myself where my eyes should go on the repeat, because with all these repeats, sometimes repeats go back a page, sometimes they go up to the top of the page, so I'm reminding myself to go left. After the page turn, I didn't see my séjour marking. Repeated C flat. I get to announce the start. I know theme, but I always have the inner cursor note. Were up. The repeat is at the top of the page. As I discovered yesterday, I had a decent fingering worked out to start this with repeated notes, but I didn't invoke it. Well, and you don't, you know that your strategy is flawed, that how you invoked your technique is at fault. Okay, so this is a repeat. Look. E major. Oops. Have the turner turn. So it's really interesting that we get out of this E major right away into C sharp minor, and I get to plunge from a very simple accompaniment to a rather more complex accompaniment. And right away, Well faked in that I was in the right place at the right time, but I did not grab these. Whoa. Let's see, I've labeled it enharmonically, sharp minor. But more important is the recollection of how the hands turn out. Left hand turns to the fifth, right hand turns to the third. Adjusted fingering here. Okay, flat minor. Just a reminder. Not good enough. If I have my left hand letting go early enough and ready on the next chord, it actually is a great benefit to my right hand. Because my right hand then has its, I have time to think about it and look at it if I need to. So, left hand is ready, right hand. Non-standard fingering. 4-3-2-1 is not a non-standard fingering. It's just I've been so busy turning my hand over 3-2-1-2 in other instances. Okay, that's good. This transition seems to be in A flat, so I don't have much time to look. Nor do I have much time, at least not now. Strangely, in a way, when you know a passage well, it is as if time slows down, that you see more, that you're readier for more, because you're not thinking of all the little details that get in the way. So, and dotted rhythm. Still not. Okay, that's a little more thoughtful. standing in the way, say, the left-hand figuration for me is in the last movement, but it jumps all over the place. It's then automatically here to lead. Look ahead, look ahead. Now that section, H8, is particularly significant for me because I carry that line. It's the only place. The other places I'm always doubling. So it's important that I have a sense of clarity and ease there. I saw a clef change and I moved the wrong way. Okay, let me try that again. It's often these modulatory shifts. You could put third finger down there in the B minor. It's an obvious fingering. A shorter note with space. And then, alas, the first 16 notes of these are crazily short because you have to get up to the rest of the noodle. I don't have to, of course, have to be perfectly even, no, although I should be as close as possible. There we go. I wanted to finish that thought, that nobody's playing the second 16th note with me, although my partners are coming in on the 8th note after that, so they really do not want me to do, unless we do an awful lot of rehearsing, and that sounds apologetic. Let me go. The bass fingering is useful. Okay, so my right hand did okay, my left hand not so well. Okay, so I'm going to think. Be ready, be ready, be ready, be ready. So it's a little jittery. Ready, 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 whoops, ready, 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 ready. Some of them. here's actually my next solo version, so I've got to be careful. Be particularly aware of that one. And the octave leap, the left hand needs my attention. And so you wonder why I was looking at the right. The left hand needs my attention, but not necessarily my visual attention. It's going to need the placement on the G flat and then the twist. Nervous, that's funny. Just a little bit of looking is what I need, but not a lot. If I look near the bottom of each of those scales, octave scales, I'm good. That is to say, at the score. Okay. Now, as I recall, the coda is much nastier than I'd given it credit for. Way too high. Let's see. generalize, are only on the A flat A. So I'm going to mark them in a really obvious fashion.